Welcome back. I'm an emergency doctor actively working at the emergency department of my hospital. In this Doctor's Corner series, we'll dive into lesser-known approaches and hidden strategies to help the people with critical illnesses. You can subscribe if you want to learn the latest news and healthy solutions about your life. Today, let's talk about dry eyes, and let's focus on something very simple that many people overlook: drinking enough water. Now, I want to be very clear from the beginning. Drinking water is not a magic treatment for every case of dry eye. It will not replace a proper eye examination, artificial tears, eyelid care, or treatment for inflammation when those are needed. But hydration can matter. Why? Because your eyes are not isolated from the rest of your body. Your tear film is made from materials your body has to produce, regulate, and maintain. If your whole body is running low on fluid, your eyes may feel that stress too. Ask yourself this. When your mouth feels dry, when your urine is dark, when you have a headache after a long day, when you have been drinking mostly coffee and very little water, do your eyes also feel gritty, tired, or irritated? For some people, the answer is yes. That connection does not mean dehydration is the only cause. It means hydration is one practical piece of the bigger picture. Look at what dry eye really is. It is not just not enough tears. Dry eye happens when the tear film does not lubricate the surface of the eye properly. That can happen because you do not produce enough of the watery part of tears, or because your tears evaporate too quickly, or because the oil layer from the eyelid glands is not working well, or because inflammation changes the eye surface. Many people have more than one factor at the same time. Your tear film has three major layers. There is a mucus layer that helps tears spread smoothly over the eye. There is a watery layer that provides moisture, oxygen, electrolytes, and protective proteins. And there is an oil layer that slows evaporation. Pay attention to that middle watery layer. That is where hydration becomes most relevant. The lacrimal glands help produce this aqueous portion. They do not simply pour plain water onto the eye, but they do depend on the body's fluid balance and salt balance. Why can dehydration make dry eye symptoms worse? Start with osmolarity. That word sounds technical, but the idea is simple. Osmolarity describes how concentrated the tear fluid is. When there is less water in the tear film, the tears can become more concentrated with salts and other particles. Higher tear concentration is one of the key features doctors look at in dry eye disease. A more concentrated tear film can irritate the surface cells, trigger inflammation, and make the nerves on the eye surface more sensitive. That can create burning, stinging, foreign body sensation, and light sensitivity. So, when you drink enough water, you are not washing the eyes from inside in a literal sense. You are helping your body maintain the fluid balance needed for normal tear production and normal tear concentration. Think of it as supporting the environment in which your eyes function. Do this first. Stop thinking of water as a cure. Think of it as a foundation. A weak foundation makes every other treatment work harder. How do dry eyes feel? People often describe burning, scratchiness, redness, blurry vision that improves with blinking, heavy eyelids, or the feeling that sand is stuck in the eye. Some people even get watery eyes. Why would dry eyes water? Because irritation can trigger reflex tearing. But reflex tears may be thin and unstable, so they run down your face without properly protecting the eye surface. That is why someone can say, "My eyes are watering, so how can they be dry?" The answer is that tear quality and stability matter as much as tear quantity. Now ask yourself, when do your symptoms appear? Are they worse after screens? Worse in air conditioning? Worse after alcohol? Worse after exercise without replacing fluids? Worse after sleeping with a fan pointed at your face? Worse after long shifts, flights, or wearing contact lenses? These details matter because they tell you whether evaporation, blinking, hydration, or inflammation may be driving the symptoms. Drinking water helps most when low fluid intake is part of the picture. If you regularly go through the day with very little water, if you sweat heavily, if you exercise, if you work in heat, if you drink a lot of caffeine or alcohol, or if you take medications that dry secretions, hydration may reduce some eye discomfort. It may also help the mouth, skin, throat, and general fatigue at the same time. But be careful. If your dry eye is mainly from meibomian gland dysfunction, meaning the oil glands in the eyelids are blocked or inflamed, water alone will not solve the oil layer issue. If dry eye is related to autoimmune disease, such as Sjogren's disease, or to eyelid inflammation, allergy, contact lens overuse, eye surgery, thyroid eye disease, or medication side effects, drinking water may help your general hydration, but you still need targeted care. Look at your medications. Antihistamines, some antidepressants, some blood pressure medicines, diuretics, acne medicines like isotretinoin, hormone therapies, and some sleep or anxiety medicines can contribute to dryness. Do not stop a prescribed medication on your own. Ask your doctor or pharmacist, could this be worsening my dry eyes? Is there another option? Can we adjust timing or dose safely? That question can be very useful. So how should you use drinking water as a practical tool? Start with your baseline. Look at your urine color during the day. Pale yellow often suggests decent hydration for many people. Very dark yellow, especially with thirst, dry mouth, dizziness, or headache, suggests you may need more fluid. This is not perfect because vitamins and some foods can change urine color, but it is a helpful clue. Next, spread water through the day. Do not wait until evening and then force yourself to drink a large amount. Your eyes do not benefit from hydration panic at bedtime. Do this instead. Drink a glass of water after waking, drink with meals, and keep water nearby during screen work. If you exercise or sweat, replace fluids afterward. If you are in a dry office or on a plane, be more intentional. How much water is enough? There is no perfect number for every person. Body size, climate, activity, diet, pregnancy, breastfeeding, fever, vomiting, diarrhea, kidney function, heart function, and medications all change your needs. A common practical starting point for many healthy adults is to drink regularly enough that thirst is not constant and urine is not repeatedly dark. Some people use a bottle to track intake. That can help, but do not turn it into a competition. Pay attention to safety. More water is not always better. Drinking excessive amounts in a short period can dangerously lower sodium levels in the blood. This can cause headache, confusion, nausea, seizures, and can be life-threatening. If you have heart failure, kidney disease, advanced liver disease, low sodium, or you were told to follow a fluid restriction, ask your clinician before increasing fluids. If you are pregnant, breastfeeding, older, medically fragile, or taking diuretics, ask for personalized guidance. Now connect water with blinking. Why? Because even a well-hydrated body cannot protect the eye surface if you stare at a screen and barely blink. During focused screen use, blink rate drops and tears evaporate more. Do this. Use the 20-20-20 habit. Every 20 minutes, look about 20 feet away for about 20 seconds. Then blink slowly several times. Close the eyes gently, open, and blink again. Do not squeeze hard. Gentle blinking helps spread the tear film. Add environment. Look at the room. Is the air blowing directly into your eyes? Is the fan aimed at your face while sleeping? Is the car vent pointed upward? Redirect airflow. Consider a humidifier if indoor air is dry. Wear wraparound glasses outdoors if wind triggers symptoms. These steps reduce evaporation, so the water layer you produce lasts longer. Use water together with proper eye lubrication when needed. Artificial tears can be very helpful. Choose preservative-free drops if you need them often, because preservatives can irritate some eyes when used many times daily. Avoid redness-removing drops unless an eye clinician specifically recommends them, because they can worsen irritation with repeated use. If drops help only briefly or you need them constantly, get evaluated. Look at your eyelids too. Many dry eye cases involve inflamed eyelid margins or blocked oil glands. Warm compresses can help some people. Use clean warmth over closed eyelids for several minutes, then gently clean the eyelid margins if advised by your eye clinician. Why does this matter? Because the oil layer seals moisture in. Without that oil layer, even normal watery tears can evaporate too quickly. Drinking water supports the aqueous layer, but eyelid care may support the lipid layer. Nutrition also matters, but keep it realistic. Omega-3 supplements have mixed evidence in dry eye, and they are not right for everyone. They can interact with blood thinners or increase bleeding tendency in some situations. Before starting supplements, especially if you are pregnant, having surgery, on anticoagulants, or managing chronic disease, ask a healthcare professional. Food patterns that support general health, including fruits, vegetables, and adequate protein, also support tissues involved in tear production and repair. Now, when should dry eyes worry you? Get urgent medical care if you have significant eye pain, sudden vision loss, a new severe headache with eye symptoms, injury, chemical exposure, intense light sensitivity, a painful red eye, pus-like discharge, or symptoms after contact lens use that do not improve quickly. Contact lens-related pain and redness deserve careful evaluation because infection of the cornea can threaten vision. Schedule an eye exam if dryness persists, keeps coming back, affects reading or driving, causes frequent blurred vision, or requires drops many times a day. Also get checked if you have dry mouth, joint pain, swelling, fatigue, rashes, or other body-wide symptoms. Why? Because sometimes dry eye is part of a larger medical condition. Here is a simple plan. For the next 2 weeks, observe your pattern. Start your morning with water. Drink steadily during the day. Reduce long stretches without fluids. Pair water with screen breaks and intentional blinking. Redirect air away from your face. Use preservative-free artificial tears if needed. Track symptoms. Morning dryness, screen-related burning, redness, light sensitivity, and how often you need drops. At the end of 2 weeks, ask yourself, did hydration clearly help, partly help, or not change much? If it clearly helps, keep the habit. If it partly helps, continue it, but add an eye care evaluation or eyelid strategy. If it does not help, do not blame yourself and do not keep chasing water as the only answer. Dry eye can be complex. The right treatment depends on the cause. Remember the main idea. Your eyes live in your body. A dry, stressed, sleep-deprived, overheated, underhydrated body can make the eye surface more vulnerable. Drinking enough water supports tear production and tear balance, especially when dehydration is contributing. But dry eye is not always a water shortage. It can be an evaporation issue, an oil gland issue, an inflammation issue, a medication issue, or a sign of another condition. So start simple, but stay thoughtful. Drink water regularly. Watch your symptoms. Protect your eyes from evaporation. Blink on purpose. Use safe lubricating drops when needed. And if symptoms are severe, persistent, painful, or affecting vision, get professional care. Take care of your eyes, take care of your body, and keep asking the practical questions. Why is this happening? And how can I support the system behind it? I'll see you in the next topic.